It was in the year 1300 of the Third Age that the Witch-King travelled far into the north, over the misty mountains. It was not known until later that he was indeed the evil leader of the Nazgûl, who came north with the sole purpose of destroying the Dunedain in Arnor, seeing hope in their disunion. In the north, the Witch-King found the realm of Angmar. Its lands lay on both sides of the mountains, and there were gathered many evil men and orcs and other foul creatures. The land was known in part for its cold weather, mostly snowy. South of Angmar lay Arnor. When Isildur was king, Arnor and Gondor formed one kingdom. But after the tragic death of Isildur, the realms were divided as his heirs had not claimed the throne of Gondor. Arnor became further split due to the dissension among the sons of Eärendil, the 10th and last king of Arnor. The realm was now divided into three: Arthedain, Rudor, and Cardolan. In Arthedain the line of Isildur was maintained and endured, but the line soon perished in Cardolan and Rudor. There was often strife between the kingdoms. Both Rudor and Cardolan desired to possess Amansul, also known as the Weather Tower, for the tower held the chief palantir of the north. In Angmar, the Witch-King had now gathered an army big enough to attack Arnor. Rudor was the first to be conquered, but with the aid of the armies of Cardolan, Arthedain managed to maintain a line of defense along the Weather Hills. But later, a great host came out of Angmar. It entered Cardolan and surrounded Weathertop. The Dunedain were defeated, and the tower of Amansul was burned and razed. The palantir was saved and carried back in retreat to Fornost, the capital of Arthedain, and now the only defense against Angmar. But in the year 1974, the power of Angmar arose again, and the Witch-King came down upon Arthedain before winter was ended. He captured Fornost and drove most of the remaining Dunedain over the Lune. Among them were the sons of the king, but King Arvidar held out in the north until the last, and then fled north with some of his guards, and they escaped by the swiftness of their horses. Meanwhile, Sauron had risen again in the south of Mirkwood, in a stronghold called Dol Guldur, the Hill of Black Magic. The forest became dark and gloomy under the trees, even in daytime, and the air was heavy and still. By this time, the dark plague hit Middle-earth, a disastrous pestilence. Some say it was caused by Sauron. It came out of the east, but soon found its way to Gondor. Worst affected was the city of Osgiliath, but it killed many all over Gondor, and also in Arnor, Rhovanion, and the Shire. Word of the attacks on Arthedain had been sent to King Eärendil II of Gondor. Despite the plague and their own defensive problems, Eärendil sent his son Eärnur north with a fleet to the Grey Havens of the Elves. When they arrived, the fleet filled the elvish harbors. With the armies of Gondor came elves from Lindon, and the remainder of the Dunedain, and men from Rhovanion. Here they learned that Fornost was already overtaken. A second host was gathered at Rivendell under command of Glorfindel. On the battlefield, the cavalry of Gondor overtook the enemies, and all fled before their might, with Ainur at his head. This was the moment that the Witch-King, clad in black, came forth near Fornost. Many of the horses fled in terror, and so did Eärnur's steed. It took the prince some time before he could control him again. The Witch-King laughed at this seeming retreat. This small victory would not last long, for the elves from Rivendell entered the battlefield, and the Witch-King fled before the might of Glorfindel. Eärnur wanted to chase him down, but Glorfindel spoke against him. "Do not pursue him, he will not return to this land. Far off yet is his doom, and not by the hand of men will he fall." Angmar was now destroyed, but the kingdom of Arnor also ended, and the Dunedain passed into the shadows, and became a secret and wandering people, and their deeds and labors were seldom sung or recorded. Little now is remembered of them. With the aid of the other Nazgûl, the Witch-King succeeded in overtaking Minas Ithil. It would be known as Minas Morgul, Tower of Black Sorcery. The defense of Gondor now lay in the hands of Minos Arnor. It was renamed into Minas Tirith, the Tower of God. When King Eärnil II died, Eärnur inherited the throne. The Witch-King challenged him into single combat, but Eärnur refused. But 7 years later, he was challenged again, and this time Eärnur accepted. He rode out of Minas Tirith to fight the Witch-King in Minas Morgul. Eärnur was never seen again. So ended the reign of the Gondorian kings, and began the rule of the Stewards.